Hi, it's Summer and welcome to my Say You'll Remember Me reading vlog. I'm part of LibreFM's ALC program, which means every month we get to pick from a selection of audiobooks that are new releases. And Abby's book was one of the picks for this month and I'm so excited about it. Also, this is kind of a chaotic clip because my cats have the zoomies, so you're probably gonna hear them and see them going up and down these stairs. This is the fourth book from Abby Jimenez that I've read. I gave Part of Your World and Yours Truly both 4 stars. I really enjoyed them. And then last year I read Just for the Summer and loved it. I gave it 5 stars. This one is about Xavier and Samantha. Xavier is a grumpy veterinarian and he first meets Samantha when she comes in after rescuing a cat. So lots of pets and cute animals in this one. There was a trigger warning list in the beginning of the book, and some of the triggers kind of revolved around animal violence, which is a really big one for me. I'm honestly pretty okay with most other things in books, but I have a hard time with anything to do with bad things happening to animals. And I'm still a little bit cautious going into this one, even though she assures us that nothing will ever happen to the main character's dog. I think it mostly kind of said like it has mentions of those kinds of things. So I'll try to like keep you updated on how that's going. So far in the book, it's been there, but not like nearly bad enough to make me want to stop reading the book. I honestly didn't know anything about this one before going in, or if I did, I completely forgot everything. So I just clicked play on the audiobook on my way home from work and was just thrown into the story. So I have already started this one. I think like an hour or 2 into the audiobook and I'm really enjoying it so far. I literally had a smile on my face the entire drive home. Everybody knows by now that Abby is the queen of banter and character dialogue. She's so good at making characters feel witty and funny, but also really deep and very real and relatable. And that's definitely the case with this one as well. I'm really loving that aspect of her writing already. And it also already has a lot of the kind of quirky things that she includes in her books. Samantha, for example, has a job as a social media manager for a mustard company. Her approach to running their profiles is like to use humor with everything, and I think that's been like really random but also like fun to hear about. I really like how Abby writes in inside jokes and stuff into her books, and I feel like there's already been like a couple of those, so I'm excited to see even more of them probably pop up. I think with this video I want to have spoilers and keep it spoiler free. So I think with each clip when I talk about the book, I'll do like a little spoiler free section, and then I'll give you a chance to hop away if you haven't read the book yet, and I'll put like words on the screen that say like spoilers so you can know when I'm talking spoilers. Anyway though, back to the synopsis. The whole intro to this book and the characters is so funny and also just really wholesome, and the speed at which they like get together and things get started is very satisfying. It hasn't taken a whole lot of like build up and things happening to finally get them to like spend time together. It happens pretty quickly and I really like that in this one. It doesn't feel like it's too fast, which I think if it's not done right, it could definitely feel like it's been too rushed and the pacing is weird, but I just think it was done really well. Samantha reads reviews for Xavier's veterinary practice online and brings in this cat that she rescued from somewhere on the side of the road. It was abandoned. She brings this cat in just to get like a little wellness check on it and finds out that it has some bigger health issues that she can't really afford to get done for this cat. Xavier tells her that since she can't afford to get this like surgical procedure done, that the best course of action would be to put the cat down so that it's not suffering, but she refuses to do that, and she's like, I'm gonna prove you wrong and I'm going to figure out a way to like save this cat. They kind of get off on the wrong foot because he's had a bad day at work, so he's just being grumpy to her and he's already just like a grumpy guy. He thinks that she's just gonna be selfish and not get the cat the help that it needs and just let it suffer, and she just thinks that he's a grumpy jerk, and she tells him as much. She ends up being able to get together the money that she needs to save her cat, and she gets to prove him wrong, and he admits when he's wrong, and it just goes from there. Also, while all of this pet stuff is happening, we're slowly kind of learning about both of the main characters' backstories and family situations. There are some things happening with her mom that are really tough, so she's going to be traveling back to California to go and see her. So just like all of Abby's books, there's definitely going to be some like hard-hitting things along with all of the really cute, funny romance things, which I feel like is the perfect balance for a romance book. I guess the last thing that I want to mention before I get into a couple of like spoilery-ish details is that Xavier is said by multiple of the characters to be Rhys-Ann from the ACOTAR series, both in like looks and like brooding attitude and stuff. The first time that it was mentioned was like, oh my gosh, like fun and cute. It is kind of fun to see like a little cameo of like one of your favorite series or a favorite character thrown into a book. But it was also brought up like 2 or 3 other times by other characters, and it was just like a little bit too much. So I want to be able to visualize Xavier as his own person and not be like thinking of Rhysand or comparing him to Rhysand at the same time. Honestly though, I'm having 5-star feelings right now, and that isn't something that's going to get in the way of me giving it 5 stars in the end. So it really is just like something small, but I thought I would just like mention it anyway. I do really quick though want to talk about some kind of spoilery-ish details, so I'll put the little spoiler warning up here. So with what I was saying about the pacing and stuff, I really love that it goes really quickly from like their first interaction to their second one. But she brings her cat back in to his office just to get like a little final checkup before she travels with the cat to California. And it also gives them a chance to like kind of talk again after he donated $500 to her GoFundMe for her cat, because she got it kind of viral on just like social media to raise money for her cat. So he donates $500 with the comment being, "You were right," or something along those lines. And I just really loved that. I also just love that with these two, it's like no bullshit. They just kind of like say what they're thinking, which is so satisfying. I love characters that actually communicate. And I also love that they're just having this kind of like blunt back and forth. And then he's like, "Do you want to go on a date with me?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then they go on a date that night. It's just my favorite thing. During all of this too, we are kind of finding out more about Samantha and her mom, and her mom's dementia diagnosis and what life has been like for her and her family over the last couple of years. And it's so sad because her mom is 54, I think, which is so young to have something like this happen. We find out that Samantha hasn't been home in a minute, and because of that, her mom, because of her worsening condition, doesn't remember Samantha, which would be the most terrible feeling ever. And so she's really having a hard time with that. And so this date is kind of helping her to like take her mind off of things. She's literally leaving to go fly to California the next day. So this date tonight was the only chance for them to have a date before she went on this trip. We find out is not just a trip like we kind of originally maybe thought, or at least I did. We find out that she's moving there, but that's kind of like later on, a couple of chapters after this. But that made me really sad. And I'm like, how are we gonna move past this? But anyway, picks her up for the day and they go to this like lake cruise, and it's like an animal charity. When they get there, she accidentally drops her phone into the lake. Everything for her job is on the phone, her sister's phone number, the plane tickets for the next day. So she's really stressed out, and she's like, I can't just like let this stay there. I have to go get it. So she's like getting ready to like dive in, because it's only like 6 feet deep or something. She can see it on the bottom, and it's water. It's a waterproof phone. But he's like, no, I'll get it. So he like takes his shirt off, and she's like, oh my gosh. So he dives in, gets her phone for her, which I kind of feel like this whole situation is a little bit unnecessary. Like, it was kind of just a way for him to like take his shirt off and have her be like, oh yeah, I'm like really attracted to him. And maybe also like a little bit of a way for her to start talking about like her family situation a little bit, because the reason she dropped her phone in the lake in the first place was because her sister was calling her, and it could have been an emergency or something. So she tells him when he gives her the phone back, like, thank you, the reason I dropped it was because of an potentially important phone call or whatever. And then she mentions that her mom is sick. Then it kind of opens the door for them to start talking about it more, but I feel like that could have been done in other ways. It kind of just didn't really feel like a very necessary scene. I don't know. Anyway, so he's like soaking wet, but he's like, no, like, let's go on the boat or whatever. I'll just dry off eventually. So they spend the evening cruise just like eating and drinking, getting to know each other a little bit, seeing all the cute animals and stuff. And they have such a good time. And he's like, I don't want the night to end. Let's go do like mini golf or something. To come up with this idea, he texted his like friend group chat, and they gave him ideas for what to do. So they show up to the mini golf place. First though, they go to his house, and he like changes and stuff because his clothes are still kind of wet. So she gets to kind of like spy on like his house and stuff and see what he's like at home. Anyway though, they get to the place where they're gonna do mini golf, and all of his friends are there because they know that that's where they were going, because they were in the group chat. And so he's panicking because he's like, oh my gosh, like, she does not need to meet all of my friends right now. This is probably so overwhelming, but she's into it. And so it was a really good interaction for all of them, and he still doesn't want the night to end, and neither does she. They're both just like having a great time. They're having this chemistry. So they decide to do an escape room. The friends all leave, and they're the only ones staying there, and the place they're at closes in an hour, so they're like, oh yeah, we'll just do the escape room in the hour allotted time or whatever, and then we'll just like take off after that, because she has to be to the airport at like 7:30 a.m. or something, and he has already agreed to drive her to the airport and stuff. So they do this escape room together, and they get locked in and forgotten about by the teenage employees that are working there because they just like don't care. So they're literally in this alien themed escape room for like hours before someone finally finds them, and by the time they're found, it's only like a couple of hours before she needs to be at the airport. But them being locked in together, it's so ridiculous and over the top, but it's also just so cute, and the forced proximity of it kind of allowed them to have some time just to like actually like really get to know each other more and talk about kind of like their trauma and the hard things that they're going through. They both really open up for each other. So they have to hurry back to her apartment and let her like pack and stuff and get ready for the airport. And when they get there, the house is basically like empty. So he puts two and two together and finds out or figures out that she's moving. And she's like, I technically didn't lie to you. I just like didn't tell you how long I was gonna be gone for, which is so freaking sad because they just had like this awesome fun first date. They really like each other, and now it's just like this ending, which obviously it's not because it's the beginning of the book, but it's gonna make things a lot more complicated. He drops her off at the airport, they go their separate ways, but he hasn't been able to stop thinking about her. I haven't read too far into her perspective of her being at home in California. She's obviously like so busy with family and stuff that she probably hasn't had a whole lot of time to think about him, but I'm sure that she's probably like always like thinking of him to some degree as well. So I'm hoping that some kind of like long distance thing maybe works out, but also I feel like I don't really know if I want to read like a bunch of like long distance stuff in a book. But I don't care, I'm just like along for the ride. But that's where I'm at right now. I guess that I should also say that for non-spoilers, at this point in the book, Samantha and her cat are both in California with her family, so we're getting to see a little bit more of what's been going on there. I also forgot to say earlier that Xavier has a dog that is new in his life because of a situation that happens at the very beginning of the book that at first I was kind of triggered by, but then it quickly gets resolved. So if you're kind of panicking at the first like few lines of this book, don't worry, it's okay. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm really liking it. I'm having 5-star feelings. I'm gonna try really hard to try and stretch out this book over the weekend, but I feel like it's gonna be really hard because like all I want to do is just like sit and listen to this book. But I do want to try and save at least enough of it so that I can listen to it in the car tomorrow, because I'm actually driving up to Utah tomorrow. It's about a 2-hour drive, so I would have lots of like listening time for this book. I'm staying up there for 2 nights to see family and just kind of spend time with everyone. Also though, I think I want to go Jellycat hunting a little bit while I'm up there, because I did the Jellycat store locator or whatever that they have on their website, and there are actually quite a few stores up there that carry them, and there are a few stores here in Vegas that carry them, but not as many as you would think. So I'm hoping that I'll have some luck when I go up there. The ones that are really high on my list are the strawberry, the bumblebee, the waffle, the pancake stack, the pink and green dragon, pickle, the croissant, the clementine, the grumpy storm cloud. I also like the teapot. Oh, I also want the peanut. There's so many that I want. I also feel like I extra deserve it because I had a long week at work. I just worked 4 days in a row, which I don't usually do. And I know that people that work full-time are gonna be like, you're such a baby, but it was it was just a long week. And also at my store, we just really opened up a new section of it for weddings. It was just very overwhelming, and like everything in the store had to be perfect. And also I'm just like having kind of a hard time with a few of my coworkers. Today was a lot better though. I had a good day today, and I knew that I just needed to like get through today so that I could get to my fun weekend. So I'm just proud of myself for making it through that. And I deserve a Jellycat. Anyway, thank you for listening to me vent. I'm going to leave tomorrow morning, I think around 10 a.m. to go up to Utah. So I need to pack a little bag tonight for that. I'm currently washing some clothes to be able to pack. But for the rest of the night while I'm kind of doing those things, I think that I want to sit down and keep listening to the audiobook while I color. I just finished coloring and I am now at 47% of the way through the book. So I definitely need to stop now or I'm not gonna have any more book to listen to tomorrow. I think this is probably Abby's most emotional and hard-hitting book so far that I've read. It's getting really heavy just with Samantha's family situation. It's really hard to listen to everything that they're all going through. I feel like I'm being so vague for the non-spoiler section because I'm trying just to go off of what the Goodreads synopsis says, and it's pretty vague there, so I'm sorry if I'm being really like cryptic about it and like not very descriptive. I did tear up over one of the chapters. It's on their second date and Xavier is telling Sam why he wanted to become a vet, and that scene definitely triggered me a little bit. You hear about his childhood and some things that happened with his family dog, and it was rough. I already know that if I had family members that were going through the same things as Sam's family in this book, I don't think I'd be able to keep reading it just because it is so just sad. I do kind of feel like at this point I would like a little bit more cute romance stuff, which I know is hard because it is such like hard stuff that she's going through and it's such a big part of her life that you can't just like tell the story without showing those moments. But I need like a little bit of a reprieve because it's just a lot. There have been some cute moments though, and there are like some cute like inside jokes that they have now that have come back up. One of them is to do with the song Come On Eileen, and they kind of bring it back up in funny situations and stuff, and I enjoy that. It's really refreshing to like read a book about mature people that are trying to handle a relationship in a mature way. It's also nice just to hear them both being so upfront about their feelings, about how much they both like each other, instead of having a whole like will they won't they situation happening. I just like how straightforward all of it is so far. I'm also really enjoying getting to know Sam's family. You get to know her grandma, her dad, her sister and her sister's 2 boys, and then her brother. So far there have also been some really great quotes about witnessing someone's life and things that you'll remember. I do want to talk about a couple of spoilery things really quick though. I really love that Xavier reaches out and is like, I want to come and see you. I love that she takes him out to do all of like the kind of touristy things. I love California and the ocean vibes and stuff, so it's fun to hear about like the descriptions of that. I feel like it's also just really sweet to see him interact with Sam and to be there for her and also for her family. One of the nights that he's there, her mom gets out of the house and gets tangled up in some stuff in the backyard, and she doesn't recognize Sam and doesn't know Xavier, and so she's thinking she's getting kidnapped. And I just feel for Sam so much because she's literally there trying to like calm her mom down while her mom is like hitting her. Like that just would be so much to deal with. I love that Xavier was there to kind of ground Sam and her mom and to help kind of restrain her mom because she was being violent. He was exactly what Sam needed in that moment and was helpful and just kind of like knew what to do. And I overall just think it's really cool that he's like, I like you and I want to be a part of your life even though you're going through some hard stuff right now. Like that's not, he hasn't said that, but that's like the vibe. And I'm gonna be repeating myself, but like the mature relationship, it's chef's kiss. It's being really well done. A couple of cute little Easter egg things that have happened are that Sam sold her car that she had back in Minnesota because her grandma said she had a car back in California for her to use. It's her grandpa's old convertible. I think it's like a Dodge or something. I'm not a car person, but it's like light blue, I think. But then I remembered that Abby Jimenez is a car person and she has, I think, a blue convertible car that I'm pretty sure she wrote into the book. I think that I've seen a couple of reels about it, but I kind of forgot about that until I kind of started putting it together, reading about the car. So it's like a vintage car and like it has a lot of problems, but also it's really charming, so you kind of can't help but love it. I thought that was kind of a cool little Easter egg that she threw in. Also, when Sam is picking up Xavier from the airport, he's like, hey, I brought you something back from Minnesota. And he's like, I got you cupcakes from Nadia Cakes, which in real life, Nadia Cakes is owned by Abby Jimenez because she won Cupcake Wars and that's like her cupcake shop. So I thought that was a fun little Easter egg too. At this point in the book, I think it's like 6 weeks or something after Xavier has gone home from flying out to visit her. And they had the conversation before he left about how this relationship isn't going to work out because he only just recently opened up his business and started his practice. So he would have to file for bankruptcy to try and sell it to move to California. And then she obviously isn't leaving California. She's trying to be there for her mom and for her family. And long distance is expensive and hard, and also just like there's not really an end in sight for either of them. Even if he was able to sell his business, it would be like years down the road. It would just be too complicated. So again, they're being mature, but this time it's sad because they just had this great time together, and then he's gonna have to leave. And then she's like, please just forget about me, try to move on. And he tries to, but like 6 weeks later, he texts her and is like, hey, I'm in California for a vet conference. But it's because he literally went and was like trying to find a vet conference or anything to use as an excuse to get to California, so he could be like, hey, I'm in California, let me take you to dinner. So that's what he does. Right now they're on a dinner date. I just want this to work out so bad. And I know that it will, because it's romance and it's like, you know, there's gonna be a happily ever after, but also with the hard-hitting elements, I'm like, oh, but like at what cost? What else is going to happen to just like rip our hearts out, you know? That's where I'm going to stop for the night though. I'll try to update you tomorrow. I don't know exactly when it will be. Hopefully it's not me just like tuning in to be like, I finished the book. Because I feel like it's such an easy listen. I could easily finish it tonight if I wanted to. I'm like physically having to make myself stop. At this point, it's feeling a little bit more like a 4.5, but yeah, I'm gonna finish doing laundry and I will just talk to you sometime tomorrow. I just made it to Utah. I made it to, I think, 77% of the book, and it's a lot. Like, there is just like so much hard, sad stuff going on, even more than in the beginning, and it honestly kind of feels a little bit unnecessary to me. I'll go more in depth on that in the spoilery section, but I'm just loving seeing the progression of their relationship. I'm loving seeing them get to know each other, and there's a lot of emphasis being put on being there for certain moments in person or remembering certain moments, and the fact that it's like a core memory or something. The title of this book is perfect, honestly, just because it has so much to do with the story, and it's a very consistent theme throughout the story. I was tearing up on my drive. It's just such an emotional story. Part of me is just kind of like, it didn't need to be this much because it's just so painful. There was also another mention of ACOTAR, a little bit of like a slighter mention, but I'm just like, stop it. Like, I'm over it. I know that that wasn't like the best update for non-spoilers, but I'm at the point in the book where there's just lots of spoilers, so I'm gonna get into that. I just barely got to a part in the book. It's Christmas Day right now, and literally on Christmas Eve, is Samantha the main character's name? For some reason I'm blanking on that all of a sudden. Her grandma dies in her sleep, and I was just like, what the fuck? Even though there was a little bit of like foreshadowing for that earlier on when they were talking about like renovating the house and stuff, which is something that I haven't talked about, I'm realizing. But they're talking about like doing renovations to the grandma's house that they're all staying in, and she's like, oh, I don't care, you're all getting it when I die anyway, so whatever investments you put in, it'll be yours. So even though that thought was kind of planted a little bit, and I maybe should have been more prepared for her to pass away, I just feel like that's too much for this character to be going through. She's already going through this awful thing with her family of her mom having dementia, and also just having to deal with this man that she is falling in love with not living close to her and having to do long distance. Like, it just feels like too much. It's been really cool to see Xavier be there for her and her family. He like immediately flew out to go see her, so that's really sweet. He's so supportive, and he just knows like the right thing to say. So that's where I'm at right now, but I'll backtrack and talk about a couple of other things. The long distance sucks, but I'm so glad that the characters have realized that it's worth it, rather than just like being by themselves and apart from each other and being miserable. It's better to just like get whatever time they can with each other. Xavier is working a bunch of like overtime. He's working every single day of the week just to be able to afford to go and see her whenever he can. She's staying busy with her family and her mom. Her mom's condition is worsening, and it's just really sad to see that. I really love that they're making an effort though, like to give her as much normalcy, or at least give her kind of the same routine that she would have had if she was still healthy. like doing her makeup every day, doing her hair. So I think that's really sweet, and I think that that's like important, not only for their mom but also for them. There's also some kind of like sketchy stuff going on with their dad. He keeps like sneaking out in the middle of the night and like driving his car somewhere. So they really don't think that he like would be cheating on their mom. But also though, like, this is a really hard thing that he's going through. I don't think that's what it's going to end up being. I think it's going to be something different, like the way that he's grieving or something. So that's kind of a little bit of a mystery that's slowly being unveiled. On a happier note though, Xavier has gotten the help of another vet to help run his business so he doesn't have to work so much. The assistants that work at his office came from this other vet's office after he retired. And so they kind of were able to introduce them to each other. And he's like, listen, my wife just passed away. I need something that's going to keep me busy. You don't need to pay me. I just want something like chill a few days a week where I can interact with people and like kind of stay busy and be distracted a little bit. So it's kind of a win-win for everyone, and I'm really glad that it ended up happening for him, because I just have been feeling so bad that he's just been like grinding so hard. Also, there's been more interaction between him and his parents. His friends have been kind of like running into them around town, and also his mom reached out to him and was trying to guilt him into like having a meeting with them. And it was just sad and not good. And I'm so glad that he's not open to talking to them again, or at least not having a relationship with them. But it's really great just to see how supportive Sam is for him during all of that, and that he feels like he can open up to her about those things, and that he just like has someone to talk to about it. I feel like I'm forgetting stuff that I wanted to talk about. Oh, they saved a dog. They were in a parking lot and saw a dog locked in a car that wasn't turned on. The windows were rolled down like a tiny bit, but the dog was like panting and ended up like passing out. Xavier breaks the glass and saves the dog, and he kind of goes viral for it because people were filming it. And then the owner of the dog comes out and is pissed because like they broke the glass of his car, but he wasn't going to pay to get his dog the care that it needed to make sure that it was okay after having like heat stroke and almost dying. And so they end up adopting this pug, and it goes home with Sam. And it was really funny reading about like the viral videos and stuff, and hearing like the comments that people were leaving on it. It was just really funny. But anyway, I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about, or at least everything that I can remember right now. I'm still really enjoying it, but also I'm just like, give us a break. Give these characters a break. I mean, I do feel very invested though. I care about these characters. I want what's best for them. I'm definitely going to finish it this weekend, in the next couple of days, if not today or tomorrow, because I don't really know how busy I'm going to be with family and stuff, but definitely on my drive home on Sunday. Right now though, I'm going to take you Jellycat shopping with me. There were barely any in that one, and they definitely weren't ones that I wanted. So I'm gonna go to one other store, and if all else fails, I think there's another store that I can go to tomorrow. So let's go to the second store really quick. Okay, that one definitely had more than the last one, but not really anything that I wanted. I did think the dragon was really cute though. But I remembered there is one more spot over here that I can try, so I'm gonna go to that one, and then we're gonna call it a day. Okay, that last store definitely had way more Jellycats. There were a few there that I really liked, but I ultimately went with one that I didn't even like talk about in my earlier clip. It's this little cinnamon roll. Oh my gosh, so cute. I'm literally so happy. I'm just glad that I found one that I wanted. And then I also just barely got done inside of a really cool plant store. I'm staying with my aunt and uncle while I'm here in town, and they've let me stay with them quite a few times before, and I wanted to get them like a little thank you. I don't really want to get it out of the bag just in case I make like some leaves fall off when I try to put it back in, but this is the plant. It looks like really tiny ivy. It's really cute. So yeah, now I just need to kill like an hour before I go to dinner. I haven't listened to any more of Say You'll Remember Me because honestly I just don't really know if I'm emotionally ready to keep listening right now. I've just been like listening to music. Speaking of music though, I'm literally so addicted to David Archuleta's new song, Creme Brulee. I played it literally, I think 5, maybe like 7 times on my way to work yesterday. And I've listened to it 3 times today so far. Like, it's all I want to listen to. It's so good and so catchy. I love this new era of his life for him. I'm also an ex-Mormon, just like David. I remember watching his season finale of American Idol during a youth group activity for church. So it's kind of cool to see this development in both of our lives. And I'm just so happy for him. And I'm so ready for cunty David and his new music because I'm literally so obsessed. I don't know if I'll see you for the rest of today, but I'll definitely try and get clips tomorrow. Okay, it's the next day. I wanted to do just like a little brief update. I am now at 97% or like 92% of the book. And I think when I left off last night, I was at like 77%. Things just keep getting even worse for these characters. And I'm just like, enough is enough. Like this, it's too much. I do appreciate characters going through like stuff together and having like emotional things happen in books. But right now it just kind of feels there's just too many bad things going on. And I know that that kind of makes the payoff even better, you know, when things get better, or it makes the characters stronger together to go through stuff, but like it's feeling like a lot. It's also feeling a little bit repetitive with some of like the inside jokes that they're having. Like they just kind of keep getting brought up. I think it's more fun and effective if it's only mentioned like 2 times or something, or 3 times. We also just barely had like a full circle moment happen. That's like what I'm in the middle of, and that was really cool and I really loved that. I'm going to talk spoilers and kind of like actually specify what those things are really quick, so if you don't want those, you can skip ahead. My problem with all of the big traumatic things that are happening are that the mom has dementia. They have to be far away from each other because they're doing long distance relationship. The grandma dies on literally Christmas Eve. And then Samantha, is that her name? I'm still blanking on if that's her name, even though I'm literally listening to the audiobook. She just lost her job right after all of this is happening. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? I'm like, Abby, leave these characters alone. They've been through enough. They don't need to be tested more. It's enough that it's getting in the way a little bit of like it being 5 stars, I think. Right now, I feel like it's closer to like a 4 or a 4.5. I guess 4.5. Like, I don't hate everything that's happening enough to bump it down like a full star, I don't think. The full circle moment that just happened is making me so happy. I'm literally in the middle of the scene right now. And it's when Xavier finds out that the retired vet that's working for him right now, or volunteering, we just found out that he's the vet that fixed his dog Winnie when he was younger, after she kept having puppies and like that whole situation. He's the reason that Xavier wanted to be a vet, and I just thought that was a really cool moment that I think is, I don't know, I just really enjoyed that. I literally have been on the brink of crying so many times listening to this book. There also was just a big family discussion that happened after the grandma's funeral, where their dad basically said like, I can't do this anymore. I know that you guys have been trying to help, but you don't understand how hard it actually is. Like, I'm with her in the night when she's waking up or doesn't sleep. I'm the one who has to shower her and change her diapers, and it's too much for me. And with your grandma gone, that's all on me now. And we all work, like it's just gonna be too hard to take care of your mom. So I think that she needs to go to a memory care facility. And they're really fighting him on that because it was their mom's wish to stay home. But he is making the argument that like she wouldn't want us to suffer and to like resent her. She'd want us to be able to like come and see her, for us to be able to enjoy our time with her, which I really agree with. Like, I feel like it's a valid argument. Like, I understand why the kids are having a hard time because they want to respect her wishes, but also like things are just like in like a really bad place and they all need a break because it's just really, really hard. So I don't know. He kind of admitted a little bit to maybe like dating around a little bit, which I kind of hate that it's like cheating on his wife, but also though, like, that's not really his wife anymore, so I understand, and that would be so lonely. So I don't know, it's just like so many difficult situations, and it feels very real, and I just feel for the characters so much. I'm trying to have hope though that everything is gonna work out okay. So I don't know. And also the vet, it just barely is having a heart-to-heart with Xavier about like, I would give literally anything to have one more day with my wife. All of this is temporary. Your practice is temporary. This is just stuff. And if you love her, then you need to just let all of this go. He does have people kind of counting on him as far as like the people that work for him and stuff, and it would suck to go like bankrupt and not really have any money.
but to just be able to like be with each other, I think it's worth it. The other thing that's kind of making me mad in this book though is that like Sam and her family completely are like gutting and renovating their grandma's home, which at first I was like, oh, that's fun, and like it's something that they can like all do together and it's just gonna make the place nicer. But now I'm just like, nobody can afford it. Like, why did they do it in the first place? They were all already having like financial struggles. They didn't need to renovate the house. Like, why are you doing that? Like, it was just dumb on their part. And the sister like says that because they're talking about how much it's going to cost to take their mom to a care center. And she's like, why did we renovate the house? Like, that was dumb. And I'm like, yeah, you're idiots. Like, why are you doing this huge thing in the middle of an already really difficult time? So like, I don't know. That's a little bit frustrating. Also, another thing that was just like kicking us and the characters while we're down is that Sam's brother surprises her with a plane ticket to go and visit Xavier. And so she's gonna go and surprise him. And she calls him and she's like, guess where I am? And he's like, I'm literally at your apartment on your bed right now. Like, he was gonna go and surprise her. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, absolutely not. Like, I'm just so sick of this. I just want something to work out for these characters. And like, they can't afford plane tickets. So he literally buys another plane ticket, heads right back home. And then also he's sick, like really sick from literally working 80 hours a week to try and afford to be able to go and see her. This book is just so much sadder than I thought it was going to be. Like, I knew it was going to be sad and heavy hitting. I wish it was a little bit more lighthearted. I feel like emotional books do stick with you longer and you really care for the characters, but oof, it's just a lot. Anyway, on a more positive, fun, happy note, I just barely went to an antique store with my cousin Allie and her little boy, and it was so fun. We also went and got lunch at a little cafe place over here too. It's kind of near Zion National Park. They have really good cinnamon rolls and really good coffee. But at the antique store, I ended up getting this ring, the checkered one, and I'm literally so obsessed with it. I love it. I also got a few more things, but they're in the back seat, so I'll do a little haul eventually. We were both shopping for like really cute like vintage plates because we're both gonna do like plate walls in our houses, so it was really fun. I'm also gonna see her again later tonight, so I'm really excited for that. I don't know when my next update will be, but I'm definitely gonna finish this book either today or tomorrow. So I actually decided to drive up kind of toward Zion National Park. There's a little tiny town right outside of it called Springdale, and it's really cute. It's really pretty. It's actually where Travis and I got married. So I was like, you know, while I'm already kind of up this way, I might as well just like go visit up there because it's finally starting to get a little bit warmer. It was still a little bit cold and windy, but it was so pretty. Well, it is so pretty. I'm still here. I'm in the parking lot, but this is a park that I would go to with my family a lot growing up. So it's just, I don't know, it was fun and nostalgic to come back here. I took some video and some pictures on my phone, but I also got out my little like point and shoot half frame film camera. I was taking some film pictures, and there were some guys that were walking up the path kind of by me. They had a film camera too. They were actually going to take someone's like bridal pictures or something. This was kind of fun. I talked to them about like film and stuff for a second. And then after I took pictures, I just went and like found a little bench to sit on and I read some poetry, and it was just like the most lovely time ever. Right now I'm reading some kind of poetry prize collection. I forgot what it's called. I'll put up a picture, but I found a few poems from that I really like. So that was really nice just to like be out in nature and like read some poetry and stuff. Before all of this though, on my drive up here, because it was about like 20-30 minutes or so, I listened to the rest of Say You'll Remember Me. It was really good, but also there's just like a few things that I've, you know, kind of already told you about where it's just so like trauma heavy and sad. I didn't cry like I thought I would. I really thought I was gonna be like sobbing in the car at some point, but I kept it together. In the last clip, I really felt like it was gonna be more of a 4.5, but right now I kind of feel like it might be more of a 4. I still loved it, but I didn't love it as much as Just for the Summer. I feel like I needed a little bit more of like the fun to balance out all of the sadness. Like, I still loved it though. There were so many good things in it. I liked the ending a lot, how much they just deeply cared for each other. I loved the pacing of their relationship, and I loved that they were just very good at communicating with each other the entire time. I really loved seeing Xavier just kind of like be part of the family. And I did like that it wasn't just like a perfect ending tied up in a bow. It still is like, you know, happily ever after, but it's still realistic where, you know, things aren't, like, not every little thing is perfect. So yeah, those are my non-spoilery thoughts. I'm gonna say like spoilers really quick. I really liked the grand gesture that Xavier did for their 1-year anniversary, where he sends her a playlist and then tells her to go out in the backyard, and then he ends up surprising her, and then she realizes that his dog is there, and she's like, you brought your dog? And he's like, well, yeah, I kind of had to, since it's a one-way trip, and he's just gonna stay there with her. And I just thought that was really sweet. I love that Sam finally kind of got her family on the same page and was like, listen, we all need to be a team here or we're not gonna make it. So they're all still struggling with things with their mom, but they're all on the same page now, and they're a little bit more willing to like share the load a little bit more evenly and just like work together. I love that Xavier had enough like help and money and resources to be able to open up his own practice in California. I love that the old practice was still able to be open for a little bit, just from people kind of like retired vets offering to come and like help run it, so they could like get out of the house and like be around animals and stuff again. So I thought that was sweet. Just a really cute book. I feel like my order of favorites is probably Just for the Summer, this one maybe, then Part of Your World, then Yours Truly, I think. I just realized that I filmed that entire clip with the air on, and it probably made the audio quality really bad. But also, I am not re-recording all of that, so sorry. Since I finished the book, I kind of feel like I'm probably just gonna end the video here, but I do want to give you a quick haul of what I got at the antique store though. So like I showed you, I got the ring. I got this really pretty like vintage plate, because I'm doing a plate wall like I told you. I got this unicorn that you hang on the wall. It's like a wall mount. It's pink and it's ceramic. I think it's vintage, it probably is, but I thought that was so funny and quirky, and I just love it. I think I'm gonna put this by our front door, kind of by the light switch. And then this is like one of my most favorite things that I've ever found. And it's so nostalgic to me, but also, even if it wasn't nostalgic, I would have had to get it because it's just so cute. But I grew up reading my mom's like interior decorating magazines, and in one of them, there were paper dolls that were included, and the artist is named Mary Englebright. So I grew up loving those paper dolls and loving the art style, and I found this at the antique store. It's a Mary Englebright ceramic like little dish, but it has hearts and cherries and checkerboard. Like, I am so obsessed with this. I literally can't believe I found this. It was only $25 and I am in love. It's so cute. I just literally can't even handle it. It's vintage from 2001. This is like the box that it came in. I'm just so happy. Like, one of the most successful antique store trips ever. Anyway, I think that's everything. Thank you so much for watching this vlog. If you read Say You'll Remember Me, you'll have to let me know what your thoughts were, what you rated it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
Appalachian sunrise.